For the first time in the month of July, we welcome you to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, along with the GPS High School Athletic Director, Hall of Famer, Gil Cloud. Coach, a busy week and some kind of July 4th celebration stuff for the show as well.
4th of July is always a great celebration week, and we have some people here, I think they're going to tell us some things about a great celebration for some of our veterans.
Absolutely. Folds of Honor is going to be represented. Dayna Dunn, their director of their incredible scholarship program, and from QuikTrip, the major sponsor of the big July 4th celebration down the river in Tulsa on Thursday night. Mendi Parker will be with us too. And we have from the University of Oklahoma, Alex Brown, the retired basketball trainer. 32 years he spent at the University of Oklahoma, athletic trainer. He's going to give you some of his tips on how to take care of yourself in the hot weather. He's also quite a golfer, isn't he, Gil?
Well, he's got 11 hole-in-ones.
Ooh, I know.
My goodness. We also have Derick Gragg, Director of Athletics from the University of Tulsa, and Eric Bailey from the Tulsa World, who will give us all the information we need to know about intercollegiate athletics.
Well, hot topics, and what I had to add real quick, Coach, I was driving here and heard this count that free agents, the NBA, is probably the greatest class of free agents in history. Kevin Durant on the move again, going from the West Coast to the East to the New Jersey Nets or Brooklyn, whatever those people are.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, my God, and for 64 million or something?
$64 million. He can't even play this next year.
Yeah, that's right. Out with that Achilles, and it's amazing. They said the entire moving of free agency, the NBA spent $3 billion with a B, $3 billion. Unbelievable.
So it may never be that large again.
Well, Dr. Gragg, the University of Tulsa, their Vice President Director of Athletics, as Gil mentioned, will be on the show with us. It couldn't be more timely as kind of a shakeup. The American Athletic Conference, the University of Connecticut says, we're done. We want to take our basketball and go somewhere else. So they'll finish this season out. But after that, the AC may go from 12 to 11.
You know, it's interesting, too. We read all the accounts of why.
Yeah.
You know, some is, well, we weren't competitive in football enough, and they even, the conjecture they made move down to 1AA in football, you know, because they're going to have a really difficult time, I'm going to tell you, when you're an independent and you've got to find 12 football games and balance your schedule 6 and 6, you know, without having to take, and they'll have to take some guarantee games to be able to pay the bills, because now they're going to be out of that TV mix, you know, with the football. And I don't know. The universities have to make those decisions sometimes. They've made the decision. There's going to be an odd number, and one of the things that you would want to ask Derick is that with an odd number, who becomes the lone wolf? Yeah. Because what happens is you go in travel partners in two schools. When you're here, you play there, and you trade opponents on a Thursday, Saturday, or a Saturday, Monday.
Yeah.
When you're the lone wolf, you may be playing on Wednesdays and Mondays and Thursdays, and you're all over the place. So it's going to be interesting to see how their scheduling goes. Now they've got another year,
right?
You know, to play in the league, and they have to pay $1 million to get out. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see if they pick up another member pretty rapidly, or they wait.
Yeah. And most
the Big 12's had to wait.
That's right. Yeah, and most importantly, the impact, of course, of the ESPN television contract that right now is set to give each 12 schools $7 million based on the football, basketball revenue. Basketball-wise, I imagine most of the American Athletic Conference schools will be very happy to see the Connecticut women's basketball team leave. Their record since they have been in the league, 102-0. Nobody's beaten them. Yeah. They're that good. The men's program, that's true. The men's basketball program has really fallen on hard times, and the football program, since they peaked playing Oklahoma at the Fiesta Bowl, which was ridiculous, they've gone apart too. So they've got some work to do. Had a big event this past week in Tulsa. The 78th Texas League All-Star Game came to town, Coach, and great event.
Well, it was a great event, well attended. Obviously, our Tulsa folks came out, but it was great to see that they had the home run derby the night before.
That's right. One of our drillers won that.
One of the drillers,
Chris Parmalee. Yeah.
And you know, it was just great to see that level of baseball. You know, because those guys, I guarantee you, there'll be a bunch of those you'll see in the majors within the next 2 to 4 years.
And Donnie Walton, the son of Rob Walton, the former Oral Roberts baseball coach, now a pitching coach on the Oklahoma State University staff. He was a standout as well as an all-star for the North team. The North lost to the visiting South 5-1, but the only run we did score, thanks to Donnie Walton there. We hope to have his dad on in future shows here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Big event in soccer, of course, winding down the FIFA Women's World Cup in France, and Team USA still rolling as they get ready to play England the next day or two here.
They just keep winning. You know, they find ways to win. We have penalty kicks. We have, great goaltending. by the American goaltender. And so, defense wins the game.
That's right.
And if you can put yourself in a position to play good defense, then you got a chance to win.
Roughneck Soccer's feeling some hard times right now. They're on the road for a couple of matches. They lost to Salt Lake City Real Monarchs 3-1. That, unfortunately for the Roughnecks, continued their winless streak at 9. They've lost 5 in a row now, and they have some tough road games at Portland, at Colorado. Then they come home for 2 home matches in July. July 24th, Los Angeles Galaxy comes to One Oak Field, and July 27th, Phoenix. One other quick mention here, the USGA Senior Open Golf Championship won by Steve Strecker. What was nice, though, Tulsa influence on that as well, involving W.K. Warren.
W.K. Warren is called the Warren Course.
That's right.
There at Notre Dame, and got a lot of great publicity across the United States. And, of course, he was mentioned numerous times about his gift to golf over the years, and of course, horse racing.
Absolutely. So philanthropic. In fact, one of his great racehorses, St. Liam, was a Breeders' Cup Horse of the Year champion. He then built a center there at the University of Notre Dame. Their medical center is the St. Liam Clinic there on the campus as well. So the Warren family has just been fantastic with that. And another quick horse racing note, I got to mention, Coach, they finally had some big meetings about this. People are well aware of the tragedies at Santa Anita Racetrack. 30 horses have died on the track. Breakdowns, and this is just stunning when you realize those are obviously high-level horses running at Santa Anita Racetrack. They feel they've really got the problem fixed now. They've redone a lot of the racetrack, and they're on point and on go for hosting their next Breeders' Cup Thoroughbred World Championships, November 1st and 2nd. That'll be $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic, 14 races over 2 days, worth $30 million. So they say they're on go, so it'll be November 1st and 2nd, the Breeders' Cup Thoroughbred Championships at Santa Anita Park, and let's hope it's safe. We get back here, another athletic director joins us on the set, Dr. Derick Gragg from the University of Tulsa, to talk TU athletics and the big news of the American Athletic Conference. Stay with us.
Cheers. Cheers. All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Our special guest now is Dr. Derick Gragg, Vice President and Director of Athletics at the University of Tulsa. Welcome to Sports Scene, Derick.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
And you got a special event coming up in your life, right? Anniversary time?
That's right. 20 years, as my wife says, a long 20 years we've been together, so we're looking forward to it.
Special wife to be the coach of athletic director, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Isn't that right, Gil?
There's no question.
That's right. We've moved 5 times, so I've dragged her all across the country, but this has been a good stop for us, so we're looking forward to
you
it.
finally get a chance, okay, here's our time, we're going to celebrate, and everything's fine, and it's a quiet time of year, and boom, all of a sudden, we have a school leave the American Athletic Conference. We go from 12 to 11 as the University of Connecticut is, after this season of athletics, we'll be pulling out. Talk about the impact and how that affect, or will it affect the University of Tulsa?
Right. Well, we're going to talk a lot about that at the Football Media Day meetings in a couple of weeks up in Newport. And right now, every school has to do what's best for it.
Yeah.
And so for us, continuing in this American Athletic Conference is the best thing for us. It's the most elite program we've been involved with, and we're looking forward to see what happens in the future. Now we can add a school football and basketball wise, but we won't add anybody who doesn't bring value. And I won't call any school names, but as you can imagine, a lot of programs have reached out to our commissioner, to a lot of our athletic directors over the years since we started the league. And we came into the league 5 years ago, and was the last team into the league, and we're proud to be there. So we're looking forward to continuing the success that we've had.
Yeah.
We're going to look for just one?
Probably. I don't think we expand past one. If you go one in football, one in basketball, or one school that could do both, that would be good too. But again, it has to be somebody who adds value to our
Bringing
conference.
value is always the critical thing. I think, when I was at Northeastern in 1994-95, the Big 12 was expanding, becoming the Big 12. And I told my president at that time, I said, it's going to hit us in Division II, there's no question, because it's going to flow. And there's been constant movement, I think, from Division I, Division II since that time.
Oh, there's no question. And it's interesting you mentioned that because I went to the University of Missouri to work for Joe Castiglione right around that time. And we were just going from the Big 8 to the Big 12. So that was a big adjustment. Steve Hatchell was the commissioner then. And just to see the turnover even in the commissioner spots and all the jumping around that the schools have done, it's been interesting over the years.
Derick Gragg, Vice President, Director of Athletics at the University of Tulsa, and really celebrating another anniversary. July 1st, as we tape this show, is actually the date, right? We joined the American Athletic Conference 5 years ago. And listen to some of these, well, you can give us the numbers, Derick, how the university has done such a great job of conference championships and through the years here.
We won 16 championships in the last 5 years, which is second most to Houston. For the first 4 years we were in the conference, we used to be able to say that we'd won the most. And finally, Houston caught up to us. But just very proud of our student athletes and our coaches. They've done a fantastic job. I say it all the time. And as you know, great college athletic programs are built on the shoulders and the backs of the coaches.
Right.
And so we owe them a lot. They've recruited great student athletes. Academically, we've graduated 87% of our seniors. I'll point out men's basketball, which is a great stat. 17 seniors since Frank Hates had them in the past 5 years. 15 of them have graduated. And so we're just doing a great job across the board. Had a Rhodes Scholar a few years ago in track and field, so hats off to Steve Gully as well.
Really great, especially in basketball, because the impetus of one and dones across the country. And let me ask you this, in that vein, you hear a lot of discussion about the transfer portal. What do you think about that as an athletic administrator? Because I think the new portion of that interpretation is the AD has to sign off on it.
Right, well, it's a couple of different ways to look at it. I'm a former student athlete too, and these days the coaches move around freely, so that's the first thing that you look at. Why can't student athletes do it? It probably needs to be tightened up a little bit. I think student athletes have to be educated on it too, to know what they're getting themselves into. A lot of times, once they enter the portal, you're basically decommitting from where you are. And so, and it's hard to go back to the program once you get involved. So I think a little bit more education on what you're doing. It doesn't even change the rule a lot. You still have to sit out sometimes because that's being confused with the waiver that you can go and compete immediately in football and basketball, and that's just not the case all the time. And they're about to add some nuances to that makes it a little bit tougher and having to submit more information for that too. So, a couple of years ago, 40% of Division I basketball players transferred. That's just amazing. And so we want to be able to make sure that the student athletes still have the ability to move if they want to, but we have to make sure that a lot of things are in place.
University of Tulsa is such a unique institution. And again, everybody points out the smallest enrollment in Division I athletics, and yet you've been so competitive, so successful. How do they do it over there?
It's amazing. The student athlete, it's that the coaches, they recruit the right type of student athlete who can compete at the highest level athletically, as we've done. A couple of years ago when we went to the men's basketball tournament and went to a bowl game, that was the first time in school history that both programs did that in the same year. So it's just amazing just to see the growth of the program since we've been in the conference, and we're looking forward to continuing that.
32 postseason trips for the 10 sports at the University of Tulsa. And again, as he pointed out, the academic standards, I find it's amazing. The entire group of athletes, about 400 on campus, with a 3.0 average.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's 245 had over a 3-point GPA the last semester, and then 45 of those had a 4.0, perfect 4.0. Wow. That's amazing, especially at a school with the academic clout that TU has.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this, Derick. You have good facilities. Is there anything planned for the future to improve those facilities?
Yeah, right now we're working on an auxiliary weight room for the men's and women's basketball programs, primarily the volleyball program, and maybe some of the other programs, because our current weight room, all of our student athletes use it. So this will be great to be able to spread the student athletes out. The football team will finally probably get to have the whole facility to itself at some point when they work out, because so many student athletes, as you mentioned, 400.
Right.
So that, and then at some point we want to expand the current weight room. That'll hopefully be our next project. We'll expand it a few thousand feet out toward the east. I want to get the directions right. And up towards the parking lot in that lot adjacent to Reynolds. That will be the next big thing that we work on.
I think it says a lot about the University of Tulsa that you're able to sit down with a major university and the Power 4 conference like Oklahoma State and say, no more of this, we'll go there twice, you come here once. About to go home and home with the Cowboys, and a really interesting, exciting one called the Bank of Oklahoma Turnpike Classic. Starts in 2024.
Absolutely, and I give Mike Holder a lot of credit in that. Brian Sislow from our end,
Right.
Who put in a lot of work on it too. But it's something we had talked about for a couple of years, and we just wanted to get out of the 2-for-1 deals if possible. A lot of other programs in our conference have been able to work home and home deals, so we're able
Right.
to talk about that. And it just makes sense, us being so close. You don't have to spend a lot of money either way with transportation. The fans from each school can be there. And Mike Holder said it best. He said our biggest alumni base or fan base in the state for them is Tulsa and Oklahoma City. And you can't play a football game in Oklahoma City, so Tulsa's the good place to play it.
That's great.
Yeah, it only took about 30 minutes for us to work it out. It took,
that right?
but it took
Wow.
about 6 months for the lawyers to get it done. But it didn't take very long.
So 11 of the next 13 seasons, Cowboys and Golden Hurricane will be playing each other. In fact, picks up again this year at TU. It's our first home game.
Absolutely, a big home game for us. We'll start the first 2 weeks on the road. So hopefully everybody's chomping at the bit to see us when we come back into the stadium. And again, playing a big state rival, Big 12 school, big opportunity for us. And we're looking forward to it.
September 14th at 2:30 kickoff. That's a nice time for a kickoff finally,
Absolutely.
right?
Let me ask you this. Over the last month, I've noticed in different publications, everything, universities still having to cut programs. How does it look at TU on that?
Well, we had to cut men's golf a couple of years ago, and that is the worst thing that you could possibly get to as an athletic director.
Absolutely.
You want to avoid that at all costs. You don't want to cut anything that directly affects the student athlete. So usually you start looking at operating budgets and even coaches' salaries and staff and those kinds of things, and we've done that. So hopefully going forward, we won't have to do that. We don't foresee having to cut programs, but looking at some other programs across the country, they may have to do some of that, and that's unfortunate.
And Dr. Gragg, the importance of the women's athletic program at the university. I know a great softball team, John Bogfeld, had a great run.
Absolutely.
Resigned, you quickly replaced him with a longtime assistant, Chrissy Stremple there. And the women's athletic program is strong at TU too.
Oh, absolutely. And with the new funding that we have coming in from the conference in the next couple of years, we're going to focus primarily on the women's sports programs first.
Nice, yeah.
And get some of the facilities and some of the things that they need up to par, because they've competed at the highest level too. We feel like if we can just help them a little bit more with the funding, they'll be even better.
And the new ESPN contract, right now, dollar-wise, looks about $7 million for each of the American Athletic Conference schools, right?
Be fantastic, which will be about $5 million more than what we're receiving
Wow.
now. So
We have some
it's
for you
big.
then too, Coach.
Well, you might want to start your pre-celebration for your anniversary at Bricktown.
Oh, fantastic. We went there the other night, so we
very
like
good.
going there, so I appreciate it.
Doctor, I can't thank you enough. I know
right,
busy
thank you.
schedule, take you down.
Absolutely.
Happy anniversary
Thank you.
too,
Thank you.
and great job with TU Athletics.
Thank you, I
Looking
appreciate
forward. Football season starts, and Coach McGovern may not forgive him for this, on the road at Michigan State, August 30th. Big dollars for TU though. We'll come back with much more here as Eric Bailey, Tulsa World Sports Columnist, joins us to talk more sports here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
One of our favorite guests, Oklahoma sports scene, as always, Eric Bailey, the outstanding sports columnist for the Tulsa World. Eric's a guy who's been covering the OU Sooners beat and had some really interesting stories of late, Gil.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we talked earlier, Lincoln Riley made $250,000, how many years ago?
At East Carolina as recent as 2013.
And now he's going to make
$6 million.
Yes. That's a little bit of a bump. I think he can get to Walmart for that.
I think so. It's funny, Gil, because they gave him $500,000 his first year. His first contract was $500,000. They said, "You're doing a pretty good job. We're going to bump you up to $850." So the next year at OU, you got $850. The year after that, they said, "You're doing a really good job. We're going to give you $1.3." And about 2 weeks after he got the $1.3 million, he got promoted to head coach. So he went to 3.1 as head coach. Then he went to 4.5, and now he's at $6 million. So it's been a rapid increase.
It's helping the economy in
Wow. 5-year contract worth $32.5 million. The salary this year is $6 million, plus the $150,000 increases guaranteed over the next 4 years. I love this. Do you have a state bonus built into your Tulsa Public Schools?
Dale? Yeah, boy, we're glad you're staying.
Lincoln Riley is the University of Oklahoma's head football coach, Joe, on April the 1st of 2021. There's 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. He gets a bonus of $1 million. And of course, bonuses built in for Big 12 championships, bowl games, playoff games. I think the national championship is, what, $400,000?
$400,000 if he wins a national championship.
Golly.
So
unbelievable. Yeah, some good memories of when he was at East Carolina. And one of his first games as offensive coordinator was against the University of Tulsa.
Exactly. You think about it, it was 8 touchdowns in the fourth quarter between Chad Morris, Tulsa's offensive coordinator, and Lincoln Riley, East Carolina's offensive coordinator. Went back and forth, Hail Mary at the end, and we were talking about some of the coaches that were on the sidelines, head coaches, Bill Blankenship, Mike Norvell, Todd Graham, Ruffin McNeil, Lincoln Riley, head coaches galore. It was an exciting game and really a sign of what was to come.
Wow.
So what do you think about this coming season?
I think that they're going to be in good shape. I think it's one of those things, there's 2 storylines everyone's concerned about, or I shouldn't say concerned about, but 2 storylines to watch. I think, of course, it's Jalen Hurts at quarterback. How is he going to do? How is he going to adapt to Lincoln Riley's system? He's only been there since January, whereas the other transfer quarterbacks and Heisman Trophy winners and Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, they were there years to get ready for their season. So how will that come? And then second storyline to really watch is the defense. I think everyone's kind of interested to see how that works. Alex Grinch has really done a good job. $1.3 million as a defensive coordinator this year. He's getting paid too. But it's going to be how that defense adapts to him. And I don't think it's going to be an overnight fix. I think it's one of those things that's going to take a couple of years. But when you're Oklahoma, fans aren't patient. So we'll see how it goes.
Boy.
Well, you know, the thing to remember about all this money too is that Oklahoma is self-sustaining that Lake Department.
Yeah.
They don't take any state aid, any state funds.
They put money back in the university's academic program.
$9 to $10 million a year. They donate back to the university. So when we talk about those salaries, but you pay for what you get.
Exactly.
So if you want the best, you got to pay the best, and I think they've done that. And I think you're exactly right, Eric. I think that the 2 big stories: will the quarterback adjust, and can we play defense in the Big 12, the wide open offenses that everybody has. And Les Miles joins the league this year. That'll be interesting at Kansas.
Our friend Matt Wells, who used to be a Tulsa assistant, he's at Texas Tech now. So another familiar face. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that defense, attacks these offenses. They've had so much success against Oklahoma years past. We'll see how this year goes.
And OU's season opener, which is interesting, it's on a Sunday night. Prime time, ABC, the only nationally televised game on that Sunday night on September the 1st against Houston, bringing back Dayna Holgerson, who was at West Virginia last year.
They just played Dayna Holgerson 3 games ago. When you think about it, it was the regular season finale at West Virginia. So, and how's he going to attack Oklahoma's defense? We'll see. I mean, he's got an outstanding quarterback in Derick King down there. It's a good program. It's going to be an exciting game. And I know there's some Oklahoma fans just waiting to get payback to Houston for what they did to him in 2016.
Well, it's amazing that the lifeblood of any program, obviously, is recruiting. And everybody gives such high marks to Lincoln Riley and this staff. And you had some blockbuster news with a story about a big-time recruit, not just the #1 quarterback in the nation, but the #1 rated recruit in the nation. But he's 17 years old and a sophomore from Georgia, quarterback.
In University of Georgia's backyard. He's from 20 minutes away from Athens, Georgia. So he's deep in SEC country. And this is a quarterback Oklahoma's really kept an eye on. Brock Vandagriff, correct. And Oklahoma did a good job going out and getting him, targeting who they wanted. And it's pretty important. I know we say it's 2 years away, and a lot can happen in 2 years. You don't know how he's going to develop continuing through high school. He's a coach's son, which is a good thing.
Right.
But for Oklahoma's sake, it's a good thing because you can go to that 2021 class and say, here's where we started. Here's our guy. We're building our offense around this guy, the number one guy in the country. And I think him giving that early verbal commitment is only going to help the offense because those guys are going to want to play with him.
Gil, what do you think about sophomores in high school committing to major programs?
I think it's ridiculous.
Frankly,
I mean, because he's an ACL away from not being the number one player.
That's right, yeah.
Or a concussion, you know, and I think those kids need to be high school kids and need to enjoy their high school time. And then when it gets to be that senior year, that if they can be recruited. But you know, it's carried through all the sports, the one and dones and college basketball, and now the transfer portal that we talked to Dr. Gragg about. I mean, you know, everybody is, if I'm not happy here, I want to go somewhere else.
Exactly.
You know, just don't make it work. Let's just go somewhere else.
By the way, this Brock Vandergrift at 17 years old, his sophomore season in high school in Georgia, 3,190 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, while playing for his dad, as you mentioned here. And it was noted by the Sooner Scoop people, this may be the biggest impact signing since Adrian Peterson. How about that?
That's a pretty good name out there to throw out there.
Yeah.
I had a chance to interview one of their guys, and they said, other than Adrian Peterson, they couldn't think of someone that could make that kind of impact and that big a recruit. So it goes back to, we talked about what Lincoln Riley's getting paid. I mean, it goes back, the players want to play for Lincoln Riley. You see what he does on offense. You see back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners. No one can say that. So it's amazing what he's done.
Let's talk about that for a second then, okay? Because the conjecture is still out there that he won't get this state bonus. That he'll be in the National Football League.
Really? Oh, wow.
Oh, it's still out there. I mean, they're still talking.
Yeah, and, you know, if he decides to say, let's just say the Dallas Cowboys, if he decided at the end of this year, I want to go be a pro coach, his penalty to Oklahoma is $4.6 million.
That's a buyout?
That's his buyout, 4.6. And then next year, the year after, it's 3.6. Next year, I think it goes to 2.6, and the next year it's waived. They just waive it all. So it's not that big a buyout when you think about it in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, no. Well, then, Jerry, you just give him
right, check. That's right. So let's talk some more football, though, certainly, and the Big Four as we look at our teams getting ready for Conference Big 12 Media Days coming up. Athletic Conference Media Days coming up. It's moving closer, under 60 days now.
It really is. You think about it. I mean, 3 Mondays, I think, from now, from this date, we'll be in now 2 weeks. 2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks away. We're just 2 weeks away from Media Days.
AT&T Stadium.
Where'd the summer go? Yeah, for the first time at AT&T Stadium, and we'll go down there and get to talk to some more to Lincoln Riley and some of the players and get their thoughts on the upcoming season.
You know, when I was in the college business, we always said 4th of July, summer's over.
That's what it feels like.
We have something for you, Eric, for joining us here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Enjoy yourself in Bricktown, Eric.
Well, thank you so much. My family will enjoy this. Thank you so much. It's one of their favorite places to go.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
No problem, Chris.
Eric Bailey of the Tulsa World. We'll be back with our OU legendary trainer, Alex Brown. You won't want to miss that.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
All right, y'all, how's everything tasting? That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
Very special guest joining us now, driving in from Norman, Oklahoma, at the University of Oklahoma. Alex Brown is a longtime athletic trainer who just retired for 32 years with the Sooners. And Alex, why would you retire? You play enough golf anyway. What was the idea of retiring?
Well, I just thought it was time. I have 3 grandkids and another one on the way.
thought it was time to play with them and chase them, and a little white ball.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, that's exciting. They keep telling me this next year will be my 50th year in this business, and 43 as an athletic director. And they keep asking, when are you going to retire? So I've retired 3 times. It hadn't worked. I failed it all 3 times. So I'm back at it now.
Yeah,
but
well,
I understand playing golf because I kind of gave that up 6-7 years ago when I came back to work. And you just don't have time to do it as long as it takes golf. But you've had quite a golf career.
Oh, how many hole-in-ones now, Alex?
11.
Incredible.
11. How many for you, Gil?
1.
Well, that's pretty good, though.
1.
11 hole-in-ones. My gosh. And, of course, I know you've also been involved at the highest level of this sport, too, at the Masters.
Yes, I've been lucky. I've gotten to be a gallery guard a couple of times there, and a lot of fun. And really, the nice treat is you get to go back in May and play it. So that was fun as well.
Favorite courses in Oklahoma?
Oh, without a doubt, Southern Hills.
Oh, yeah, it's just amazing.
Obviously, Oak Tree.
Yeah.
Karsten Creek. The OU golf course, the Jimmy Austin golf course is really good. The other 2 courses at Oak Tree are also great. I got a lot of favorites. And Belmar, where I'm a member, I really love. Toby Keith is the owner there, and they take great care of the place. A lot of fun to play, and I played there yesterday.
Ah, jeez.
So how many days a week do you play now that you're retired?
Probably 7.
7? Is that all?
That's all. I have 2 decisions to make every day. Scrambler fried, Walker ride.
When I was a member at Indian Springs years ago, there was a guy named Ole Olson, and he was always in the clubhouse. No matter when I was up, he'd always be in the clubhouse. And I asked, Ole, what do you do? Well, I was a retired petroleum engineer. And he said, but I decided about 5 years ago that the only decision I wanted to make every day is who I was going to play golf with.
Very good.
I know. Give us some of your background. Appalachian State and then East Central, of course. Some of your training there.
Well, I grew up on Tobacco Road. I was actually grew up in Durham, North Carolina. Yeah. So I kind of became a basketball guy.
Right.
And then I went to Appalachian State. My freshman year at Appalachian State, the basketball coach was Press Maravich.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Then the next year became Bobby Crimmins.
Yeah.
Then in 1980, I moved to Ada. I was the athletic trainer there from 1980 to 1987. Then the opportunity came to go to OU and work basketball and football with Coach Switzer and with Coach Tubbs. So that's kind of and I have never found a reason to leave Oklahoma since.
32 years, more than 1,000 games as athletic trainer for men's basketball program. Missed only 5 games, Coach, in that entire run. I'll tell you, that's quite a record there. It's some great memories, I'm sure. 3 Final Fours and 2 men's golf national championships as well.
Yes, I'm very lucky. Lucky to help take care of a lot of teams there over my time. Actually was with softball in the 2000 national championship team.
Pretty good run there too.
And I remember when gymnastics was kind of getting it going.
Right. Yeah.
Now they're a powerhouse, men and women.
Gosh, that's fantastic. You've worked with really good head coaches during your career.
Oh yes, absolutely. Billy Tubbs, Kelvin Sampson, Jeff Capel, Lon Kruger. It doesn't get better than that. That's a great group.
Oh man, you bet.
And some of the favorite players, I mean, of course, all around here we think of one guy, Wayman Tisdale, of course.
Well, unfortunately for me, and it's probably one of my biggest regrets, I didn't get to take care of Wayman. He left in '85 and I got there in '87.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So my favorite players are Mookie and Stacy.
Yeah.
Obviously Blake Griffin, Hollis Price, and Buddy Hield. Ryan Miner also, a guy that doesn't get a lot of credit, but was an awesome player from little bitty Hammond, Oklahoma. Helped the baseball team win a national championship.
It's a pretty good group right there,
I'd
Coach.
say it's a heck of a group. Now, you probably worked with one of our good friends, Mike Mims.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Mike, is TPS grad, and went off to Langston and came back and then joined Billy at OU during that time.
Yes. Well, Mike Mims got us Harvey Grant and Mookie Blaylock, and those 2 guys were huge, and we were the best team in the country in 1988.
88. I would never forget that game with Kansas, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Me either. That's probably my biggest regret in my time at OU.
Sir, medical staff of 2 U.S. Olympic festivals as well, training basketball tryouts for the 1990 World Games as well, Goodwill Games. So some international experience too, Alex, in your years.
Yes, I'm actually going to keep doing that,
Oh,
even
great.
though I'm retired, and I'm going to actually work for USA Basketball a little bit on the side, doing some things. So hopefully that'll be fun. Get to see young players. I was really fortunate to work with Christian Laettner and Grant Hill. Gene Cady was actually the coach of the 1991 Pan Am team. We went to Havana, Cuba, which was a really great trip.
Internationally, that is really a different world to work in. How different is it from an athletic training standpoint?
Well, not much. You know, the rules are a little different, and now college basketball is going to the international three-point line this next season. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that, seeing how that works. But I think it's always been a lot of fun to see different players from around the country and watch how they develop.
A 2011 inductee into the Oklahoma Athletic Trainers Hall of Fame, and well-deserved certainly there. And I know you guys had a great staff working with you too, medically at OU through the years.
The absolute best. Scott Anderson, our head athletic trainer, I was proud to work for him, and Brock Schnabel, our team physician. He was the head physician for the 2000 Olympic team that went to Australia, and he was also with the 96 Atlanta Olympic team. He was the head physician for the 2000 team for all sports.
Well, it's amazing, and of course the legacy of Dr. O'Donoghue, who started the knee thing way back at Oklahoma and everything. Sports medicine has always been very important for us today. And we're going to get into that, I think, in the next segment. Talk about some of the nuances that trainers have today that they didn't have maybe 30 years ago.
Well, that's some training tips from a real expert for you, so stay tuned. With us on Oklahoma Sports Scene here is Alex Brown, our OU trainer for 32 years with the Sooners, going to give you some inside information, so stay with us.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brew house? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Bound Derick, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, where we have Alex Brown, the recently retired Oklahoma trainer and golfer extraordinaire. Alex, it's as we get into the summer, it's really one of those things I think that has changed in intercollegiate athletics, where the kids stay on campus all summer and everything else. How has that changed your approach as a trainer working with those student athletes?
Well, we get a much better, used to hope they would come back in shape in August. Now, it's a great opportunity to work with the kids, work on nutrition, work on their conditioning, work on strength training. Diet has become really, really important. We even get a chance to, monitor them sleep-wise, help them in many aspects of, it gives them a chance to kind of adjust to school as well.
So it's come a long way. We used to have a big for water and a salt tablet, right, Alex?
Yes. Well, the salt thing is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do salt. You don't want those cramps.
Right.
One of the things that our trainers, Tulsa Public Schools, are dealing with now, obviously, is that I told the executive director of the Activity Association, I don't have surgeons or physicians as my trainer. Cardiac arrest, the concussion protocol, heat exhaustion, it is really one of those things that they have to be really on top of. How has that changed much at the collegiate level?
Massively. Concussion being the most, our recognition of and our return to play has changed a great deal. You know, what happened to Eduardo Nahara in 1999, now they would, they'd roast me for that. But that was a very long time ago now, 20 years.
Do you deal with, I know one of the things we have to deal with is return to learn. Have you had to deal with faculty or whatever relevant to that?
Well, we have academic advisors that actually are kind of the buffer. For that, but we're monitoring them. We do a kind of a baseline test when they first arrive on campus.
Right.
And then if someone should get a concussion or we think they might have a concussion, then we reevaluate them. And until their symptoms subside, obviously, they're not going back to play, and if they're having trouble concentrating or sleeping or whatever, we're limiting their activity a great deal.
Alex, you're 3 decades plus. You must see some incredible changes in the preparation and the workouts and trying to be preventive as far as injuries go.
Oh, absolutely. Prevention is key. You know, whenever we can prevent an injury, that obviously is one less we have to take care of. Flexibility is something that we're working more and more on. We use foam rollers a great deal. Stretching is paramount. My all-time favorite athlete on stretching was Taylor Griffin.
Really?
He taught me, Blake's brother.
Sure, yeah.
Taught me a great deal about that. He was super in that regard, and of course that's what's helps all these kids these days.
Yeah.
Is flexibility, stretching, obviously strength and endurance are important as well. Diet, nutrition, there are also a big factor in helping prevent injury, eating right.
Right, yeah.
Speak about nutrition. Say you go on the road for a Big 12 road trip. Are you directly involved with setting up the meals for those?
No, we actually have a nutritionist who would be doing that now. And our strength coach helps along with that as well. High calorie, obviously, low fat, and recovery. You know, lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of protein, and we snack. They snack all the time. During the season, as the season goes on, I always had to figure out which suit I was going to wear because I gained weight eating the same thing they did, but I wasn't working out nearly as hard as they were.
Alex, give us some hot weather tips for those like out there on the golf course and the tennis course and stuff. What should they be aware of in this really hot, humid Oklahoma summers?
Well, light colored clothing, wearing a hat, and obviously stay out of the heat of the day if you can. Going early or late are better, and this is the same thing you would be doing for a football team.
Sure.
That's one of the beauties of basketball. We usually run a 72-degree gym, but going early or going late, when it's humid, it's hot, you just got to hydrate. Water is great.
Yeah.
Gatorade, Powerade, some type of electrolyte drink is going to be even better.
Wow.
Now, I wouldn't recommend a Monster or something like that. It's not going to help you.
Can't thank you enough, really, making the trip up here, which must have some golf involved, right? Did you find a golf course somewhere
There
around
are
here?
a lot of great golf courses here in Tulsa.
We have something for you too, though.
Well, this is not exactly what you probably ought to have on a hot day, but at 5 o'clock and on, we want you to be at Bricktown.
Oh, all right. Sounds
You
good.
can enjoy that.
Thank
Alex
you.
Brown, for 32 years, been the athletic trainer of the University of Oklahoma basketball team, men's golf team, a lot of other sports as well. Truly one of the great pioneers, one of the great men of his profession. Alex, again, thanks for being with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Thank you.
We have much more. A special look at Folds of Honor, a very special group and a very special event coming up for them this week in Tulsa. Stay with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Cheers.
All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Well, as we tape our first show on the 4th of July on Oklahoma Sports Scene, of course, it's the big holiday week. It's July 4th, Thursday, as America celebrates another birthday. Joining us to help us celebrate, too. Very glad to have with us from the Folds of Honor, outstanding group, Dayna Dunn. She is their Director of Scholarships, and from QuikTrip, the major sponsor of the big event coming up July 4th, Mendi Parker. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad you're at the Oklahoma Sports Scene. I know this Folds of Honor has been such an incredible event. And we can thank, of course, Major Dan Rooney, going back to, 2007, I believe, right?
Yes,
Tell us a
sir.
little more about the Folds of Honor.
Yes, sir. So Major Rooney started our organization in 2007 and did their first fundraiser, which tied to sports, happened to be golf, in 2008. We started with 5 scholarship recipients and have grown from that period in time. 2018-19, we gave out just under 4,000 scholarships to the tune of around $20 million, just under. And so a huge part of that, of course, then is our relationship with QuikTrip.
And QuikTrip really has stepped up. And I know it got involved also with NASCAR racing, another big Folds of Honor event. Tell us a little more about QuikTrip's involvement with Folds of Honor and how it's helped QuikTrip as well.
So one of QuikTrip's key focus areas is education. And we were getting a lot of requests from our employees with a request for some military support. And how do we get involved? How do we support them? And when we met Major Dan and Folds of Honor, it was just absolutely perfect for the education component and then also taking care of our servicemen and women who make that ultimate sacrifice for us.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. What's the criteria for a scholarship recipient?
You have to be a dependent or a spouse of a service member who is either fallen or disabled in the service to our nation. And basically, that's it. They do an online application, which we accept those once a year, and then we do our disbursements or make our scholarship award offers very soon, 1st of July.
Dayna Dunn, the Folds of Honor, head of their scholarship program there. And I was looking here, 20,000 scholarships, all 50 states.
Yes, sir.
And
all 50 states and a few other countries as well.
Boy, that's incredible.
Fantastic. And students can go to any higher ed or continuing education?
Needs to be an accredited institution, yes. We have 2 programs. We do Children's Fund, which is for private school tuition or tutoring, helping kindergarten through 12th grade. And then the largest bulk of our scholarship recipients are college-age students.
Another thing really impressed me too is 86% of every dollar of scholarship fund money that comes in goes to the scholarship fund.
Yes.
That's going to be impressive. That's going to make you feel awful good too at QuikTrip.
Absolutely. Those are some of the things that we look for and make sure that the funds that are actually donated are actually going to the kids.
Big week for you this week, Folds of Honor, as we tape on Monday, of course. You mentioned July 4th, obviously, on Thursday, and big plans out the river.
We are so excited for tomorrow, July 4th.
Yeah.
We have 2 areas of activation in the Tulsa area. So if you're not familiar with the area down on the river, we have Veterans Park and River West. And we are expecting anywhere from 20,000 to 30,000 people in our areas. And so we partner with Folds. When we decided to sponsor this event, we wanted to give them the naming rights and let them have this platform as a way to, 1, increase awareness for kids that may need that assistance.
Sure.
And also people that want to get involved, whether it be personal donations or volunteering, or even companies that are also interested in knowing that this is a really great foundation, what they're doing, and the money actually goes to the kids.
What time does the celebration start?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah.
And you opened to some tailgating for the first time, right?
There's some tailgating, yes. We're going to have kids areas on both sides of the river. There'll be lots of stuff for kids to do. And, you know, QuikTrip's going to have some tents there, and we'll be giving out lots of free stuff for the kids and little things for them to win. And then, you know, food trucks, we're going to have concerts going. And then at 9:30 is when the actual fireworks will begin.
The big fireworks show, the biggest in the area here. Excuse me. And obviously, for Folds of Honor, the most patriotic of all holidays.
Absolutely. Very important holiday for us.
Well, yes, you go through the celebration of this, and we look at for the right reasons why we celebrate this. Do you have anything planned for any of your group that will be at the event itself? And
yes, Ben Leslie, our Senior Vice President, will be there with Mendi Parker, and he will be emceeing, I believe, on the River West side.
He's on Veterans side.
Oh, okay, on Veterans side,
He's on Veterans side. We'll have a recipient, local from the Tulsa area, so she's going to be on the River West side, and her kids are going to be there, and they were recipients. They lost their dad.
Oh, boy.
So that's one of the cool things with the job that I specifically get to do is I've gotten to meet so many of these recipients. And really, it makes it real. It really brings home what their mission is and that what they actually lost and what they're going through. And some of these kids that, you know, they, whether it be through the tutoring and they just can't get their mind around, you know, they just need that extra help. Or just going back to school. I got to meet a recipient and her husband was killed and she had a newborn baby, and so she went back to school and got a teaching degree, and now she's thriving and doing well, and the little boy's wonderful. And so that's one of the cool things that I've gotten to do is get to meet a lot of these recipients.
you got to feel good too, though, about the celebrities that have got involved with golf.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
They
much fun. The
have
Patriot
embraced that,
Cup.
you know,
Absolutely.
to be a part of it, and I think that speaks well for those folks that do come, because we see all the other things of the other people who don't do things as well.
Yeah.
That's a big Memorial Day event, right? The Folds of Honor tournament here at the Patriot Golf Course.
Yes, yes. Every Memorial Day weekend, we do Patriot Cup. As a matter of fact, this year they celebrated the 10th anniversary of the Patriot Cup, and yeah, it's very special to have everybody come together.
And the Freedom Fest tailgate bash, the first time they've had that, on-site parking is available, right? You can set up. And
there is some parking. If you go to the River Parks website, you can get a tailgating pass, and that's when you can bring in, and you have a special parking spot and tailgate right there. This year, Gathering Place had stepped up, and they've donated some, and they're going to have fireworks that are going to go off and be bigger than football fields. And
wow.
So we thought they were big in the past. They're going to be about double this year, so we're really excited.
And I see our friends at KRMG Radio, 740 and 102.3 FM. They'll have the patriotic music, kind of choreographing the whole thing, right?
Yep, they'll be playing the music along with the fireworks show.
And yet, how many tons of fireworks are going off? Any idea what the
There's
count
close
is?
to about 5,000 shells.
Wow.
Man.
So give us the times again and where they need to go.
All the food trucks and activation and concerts and music, everything will kick off at 5:30, and then the fireworks show will begin just after 9:30.
And Dayna, you can tell us more about the Folds of Honor website and how people get involved with this great event.
Absolutely. So if you're curious about Folds, go to foldsofhonor.org. And you can find information about our scholarship programs. You can also, if you want to give, can donate there. We are working really hard to grow our Wingman program. And if nothing else, stop by any local QuikTrip. And they do have brochures at every gas pump in their locations, and you can grab a snackle while you're there.
Oh, sounds good. Right. Dayna Dunn, she is the Director of Scholarships for the Great Folds of Honor, and you want to thank also QuikTrip for their great involvement with Mendi Parker here. She is their Director of Marketing and Communications. We have something for you ladies for visiting us today.
After or before, be our guest to go to QuikTrip. I mean, go to Bricktown.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
So enjoy that.
Thank you.
QuikTrip's not a bad place to eat either.
No,
I'll tell you
no,
for
it's
sure.
not.
Thanks, ladies, so much for making this such a special event, and it's going to be a great July 4th here for everybody.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday, America. Give our best to the Major, too, would you?
I most certainly will.
Thanks so much again. Stay with us. Gil and I are back for our parting shots to wrap up Oklahoma sports scene right after this.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
It's time for parting shots. Gil Cloud starts us off.
My parting shot today is for the Folds of Honor. I tell you what a great organization to service our veterans, to bring the named celebrities into Oklahoma to play in the golf tournament, and then the scholarship program, and kudos to QuikTrip for stepping up and being a naming sponsor, and then of course the celebration down at the River Parks on July the 4th, beginning at 5:30 and with the fireworks at 9:30, and going to be bigger than anything they've ever had. Congratulations, Folds of Honor, Major Dan Rooney, and all those folks out there that care about our veterans.
And happy birthday, America. Well, it's officially summertime in Oklahoma. That means, of course, high temperatures, high humidity. Then nothing meteorologists like more when you're hot enough, they throw in a heat index at triple-digit figures to make you feel it even more. So here's your official reminder when you're out there with your sports activities or just in the stands cheering on your young athletes. Be sure to, of course, hydrate, wear a light-colored clothing, have a hat, use that sunscreen and stuff, and please be careful and take your time because it can be really, really dangerous out there. Enjoy the games, but parents especially, keep your cool. Well, we're going to have a special co-host for the next show because he's going on injured reserve. What's going on, Gil?
I need a new right knee. I've got a new left knee. I got a new right hip. I may be all new. And
a bionic man.
I'm all titanium. I'm ready to go.
Bill Hastings of the Tulsa World, our great sports columnist, is going to join me as the co-host. Got a great show planned for you. The FIFA World Cup will be wrapping up with the championship game, hopefully involving the USA on this coming Sunday. And Tulsa's Fortuna women's soccer coach, Yolanda Thomas, will be on the show with us. We'll also have the legendary TU baseball coach, Gene Shell, with us. And Jerry Jacobson on a very incredible program on the north side, RBI World Baseball Outreach. A lot coming up on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Coach, be safe, be healthy.
See you soon, hopefully.
Okay, take care.